Nia Caldwell stood at the Starlight Arena's VIP counter in Atlanta, her jeans and hoodie hiding her billionaire status. The ticket agent smirked, saying, "These seats aren't for you, sweetheart. Try the cheap ones." Nia's eyes narrowed. In minutes, she bought the entire venue on her phone, firing the agent as the crowd roared. A shadowy figure watched from the balcony, muttering, "She'll pay." What happens next changes Nia's life forever. Tell us where you're watching from. If you stand for justice, hit like and subscribe for more gripping stories. Nia Caldwell leaned back in her new office at Starlight Arena, the Atlanta skyline glinting through floor-to-ceiling windows, her heart racing with purpose. At 35, she'd built a tech empire from nothing, and now, owning this iconic venue felt like a middle finger to every doubter who'd ever sneered at her black skin. The ticket agent's smug face still burned in her mind. His words, "These seats aren't for you, sweetheart," echoing like a slap. Firing him yesterday had been sweet, the crowd's cheers ringing in her ears as she tapped her phone to seal the deal, buying the arena for a cool $50 million. She wasn't just here to gloat, though. Nia envisioned a revolution, black artists headlining, diverse staff running the show, and concerts that celebrated every corner of Atlanta's vibrant culture. She'd already hired a team, including a young promoter named Jamal, whose ideas for a hip-hop festival had her buzzing. But as she scrolled through emails, a notification pinged, her phone screen flashing with a video titled, "Billionaire Bully Steals Atlanta's Starlight." Her stomach dropped. The footage, grainy but damning, showed her storming the VIP counter, edited to make her look like a screaming tyrant, shoving the agent aside while he begged for mercy. Words like aggressive and entitled crawled across the comments, laced with slurs that stung like knives. Nia's breath caught, her fingers trembling as she clicked the source. The video came from an account linked to Pinnacle Entertainment, the arena's former parent company, and had already racked up 2 million views in hours. Her inbox flooded with hate mail, calling her everything from a thug to a black elitist who'd stolen a cultural landmark from hard-working folks. The racist venom wasn't new, but its scale was suffocating, each message a reminder of how quickly the world could turn. She called Jamal, who was already at the arena, and his voice shook. "Nia, you gotta see this. There's a crowd outside and it's bad." She rushed to the window, her office 3 stories above the entrance, and saw a mob of hundreds, their faces twisted with rage, waving signs that read, "Save Starlight," and "No to Greed." Some wore red hats, others clutched megaphones, their chants blending into a roar that made her skin prickle. "Go back where you came from," one screamed, the words slicing through the humid 90-degree air. Nia's heart pounded, her mind racing to piece it together. This wasn't random. The video, the mob, the pinpoint timing. It reeked of a setup. She Googled Pinnacle's CEO, Victor Hargrove, a 48-year-old white man with a slick smile and a reputation for crushing competitors. His name popped up in articles about preserving Atlanta's heritage, code for keeping things white and exclusive. Nia's gut told her he was behind this, his pride wounded by her purchase, his power threatened by her vision. She tried calling her PR consultant, but the line was dead, the mob's noise drowning out her thoughts. Downstairs, Jamal texted, "They're throwing bottles, Nia. Cops are here, but they're just watching." She peered out again, spotting police in riot gear, their arms crossed, smirks matching the crowds. Her chest tightened, the betrayal of their inaction hitting harder than the slurs. Nia grabbed her laptop, drafting a statement to debunk the video, her fingers flying as she typed, "This is a lie. I'm here to uplift, not destroy." But before she could hit send, a crash echoed below, glass shattering like a gunshot. Mob had breached the entrance, their shouts now inside the arena's lobby. "Take it back! Take it back!" Nia's office door was locked, but the walls seemed to close in, the air thick with panic. She called 911, her voice steady despite her racing pulse, but the dispatcher's tone was cold. "We're aware, ma'am. Stay put." Stay put? With a riot breaking down her doors? She glanced at the security feed on her laptop, watching as protesters tore down posters of upcoming shows, their boots stomping over images of black artists she'd booked. A man in a black hoodie, his face obscured, hurled a brick through a display case, the crash making her flinch. Then she saw it, a flicker of flame, a bottle stuffed with a rag soaring through a broken window, landing in a burst of fire that licked the lobby's carpet. The mob cheered, their voices a sickening chorus, and Nia's breath stopped, her eyes locked on the growing blaze. Smoke curled upward, the fire alarm screaming, but the cops outside didn't move, their radios crackling. As they watched the chaos unfold, Nia's mind raced, her billionaire status useless against this orchestrated hate, her dream of a diverse starlight crumbling under Victor's invisible hand. She grabbed her phone, texting Jamal to get out, her fingers shaking as she typed, "Meet me at the back exit." But the flames spread faster, the lobby now a haze of black smoke, and the mob's chants grew louder. "Burn it down!" Nia's office was still safe, but the heat was creeping closer, her vision blurring as she coughed, the reality sinking in. This wasn't just a protest. It was a declaration of war, Victor's first strike to reclaim what she'd taken. She clutched her laptop, the draft statement still open, and vowed to fight back, her resolve hardening even as the fire roared. But as she moved toward the stairwell, a shadow passed her window, a figure on the roof, watching, waiting. Who was Victor? Sending next, and how much worse could this get? Nia Caldwell's hands trembled as she stood in her sleek Atlanta penthouse, the city's twinkling lights mocking her crumbling world. The Starlight Arena, her bold purchase just days ago, was still smoldering from the riot sparked by that doctored video, a racist lie painting her as a tyrant who'd stolen a cultural gem. At 35, she'd clawed her way to billionaire status with her AI startup. But now, the venom online, slurs like thug and greedy black elitist, felt like punches to her gut. Her phone buzzed with notifications, each one a fresh wound, but she ignored them, focusing on the crisis PR firm she'd hired at a cost of $10,000 a day. They were good, spinning the narrative, tweeting from her account, "Nia Caldwell is a visionary, not a villain. That video's a fake and we're proving it." By noon, their efforts paid off. Hashtags like Talk or Stand with Nia trending, and a local news anchor, a black woman named Keisha, aired a segment debunking the video's edits, showing frame by frame how Pinnacle Entertainment, the arena's former owners, had twisted Nia's calm exchange into a screaming fit. Comments flooded in, some hateful but many supportive, with fans posting, "We see you, Nia. Keep fighting." Her heart lifted, a rare smile breaking through as she sipped coffee, the 90-degree heat outside no match for her rising hope. She called Jamal, her new promoter, who was back at the arena boarding up shattered windows. "It's working," she said, her voice bright. "The tide's turning." Jamal laughed. "Told you, boss. They can't keep a good woman down." For the first time since the mob's chants echoed in her ears, Nia felt in control, her dream of a diverse starlight, black artists, inclusive staff within reach. She was planning a press conference, imagining the headlines. "Billionaire fights back, exposes lies." But as she drafted her speech, her phone lit up with an email marked urgent, the subject line chilling. "Lawsuit against Nia Caldwell. Starlight acquisition fraud." Her breath caught, coffee spilling on her hardwood floor as she opened the file. Pinnacle Entertainment, led by Victor Hargrove, that slick 48-year-old CEO with a knack for preserving Atlanta's heritage, claimed her purchase was illegal, accusing her of manipulating financial records to seize the arena. The lawsuit demanded the sale be reversed and her assets frozen pending investigation. Nia's mind raced, her billionaire brain calculating the odds. She'd bought Starlight fair and square, every dollar traced, every contract airtight. This was a bluff, a desperate grab by Victor to reclaim his throne. But the judge assigned, Harold Vance, a white man in his 60s with a history of siding with Pinnacle's interests, sent a shiver down her spine. She Googled him, finding articles about his country club ties to Victor, their golf games splashed across society pages. Her stomach twisted, the system's bias glaring like a neon sign. She called her lawyer, a sharp woman named Carla, who warned, "Vance is trouble. We need to move fast." Nia paced, her penthouse's marble floors cold under her bare feet, the weight of Victor's power pressing down. By afternoon, she faced Judge Vance in a packed courtroom, the air thick with tension, reporters scribbling in the back. Carla argued the purchase was legal, presenting bank records, but Vance's eyes, cold and unyielding, barely glanced at them. He leaned forward, his voice dripping with condescension. "Miss Caldwell, this court takes fraud seriously. Until we investigate, your assets are frozen." The gavel slammed, echoing like a gunshot, and Nia's world tilted. Her accounts, millions in cash, stocks, her company's funds, locked overnight. She stood frozen, her tailored blazer no shield against the reporters surging forward. There, cameras flashing like lightning. "Nia, did you steal the arena?" one shouted, his voice laced with glee. "Are you bankrupt?" another sneered. The questions a barrage of racist undertones, assuming her wealth was a scam. She pushed through, her jaw tight, Carla whispering, "Don't speak." But the mob followed, trailing her to her penthouse, their vans clogging the street below. She locked her door, heart pounding, the city's hum drowned by their chants. Fraud! Fraud! Her phone died under a flood of notifications, her allies silent, her PR firm scrambling. Nia sank to the floor, the lawsuit's weight crushing her victory over the video. Victor wasn't just fighting for the arena, he was dismantling her life, using the courts as a weapon, his connections a noose. But as she sat, her eyes caught a photo on her desk, her late mother, a nurse who'd faced her own battles, smiling fiercely. Nia's resolve hardened, her mind shifting to offense. She opened her laptop, searching Victor's history, digging for dirt. Hours later, she found it, a whistleblower's blog buried online, alleging Pinnacle's discriminatory hiring, rejecting black applicants for years. Her pulse quickened, a plan forming to expose him, to turn his weapon against him. But as she typed, a new alert flashed. Billionaire's fraud exposed. The media, tipped by Victor's team, spun the lawsuit, painting her as a con artist, her face plastered on every news site. The reporters outside multiplied, their lights blinding through her windows, her penthouse a cage. She gripped her laptop, the whistleblower's blog her only lifeline, but the mob's shouts grew louder, their fists banging on her building's gate. Victor's lawsuit wasn't just a legal move, it was a public execution, and Nia was trapped. Can you believe the system turned on Nia this fast? Drop a comment with #1 if you're raging at this injustice. Hit like to show Nia some love, and subscribe to follow her fight against Victor's empire. What's Nia's next move? And can she outsmart a judge in Victor's pocket? Nia Caldwell's penthouse felt like a fortress under siege. The Atlanta skyline a distant dream beyond the reporters' flashing cameras camped outside her door. At 35, she'd built a billion-dollar AI empire, but now, with her assets, frozen by a racist lawsuit from Pinnacle Entertainment, she was a prisoner in her own home, the weight of Victor Hargrove's vendetta crushing her. The courtroom defeat stung, Judge Vance's gavel still echoing in her ears, his smug, "Miss Caldwell," dripping with contempt as he locked her millions away. The media's lies, calling her a fraud, burned worse. Each headline a knife twisting deeper, their racist undertones clear. A black woman couldn't possibly earn that wealth legitimately. Her phone was a graveyard of missed calls, her allies silent, her PR firm struggling to keep up with the storm. But Nia wasn't done. That whistleblower's blog about Pinnacle's discriminatory hiring, buried in the dark corners of the internet, was her lifeline, a spark of hope in the chaos. She needed a lawyer, someone who could dismantle Vance's bias and expose Victor's corruption. Enter Marcus Tate, a 40-year-old black attorney with a reputation for tearing through crooked judges, his sharp suits and sharper mind a beacon in her fog of despair. She found him through a mutual contact, Jamal, her promoter, who swore Marcus was the real deal. They met in a dimly lit coffee shop 10 miles from her penthouse, Nia slipping out through a service exit to dodge the reporters. Marcus's handshake was firm, his eyes steady as he said, "I've seen Vance's type before. We'll bury him." Over coffee, he laid out a plan. Dig up Vance's financial ties to Pinnacle, prove collusion, and get the lawsuit thrown out. Nia's pulse quickened, her billionaire brain clicking into gear, seeing a path forward. She handed Marcus a thumb drive with the whistleblower's data, her voice low. "This is everything I've got on Victor. Use it." For days, they worked in secret, Marcus poring over bank records while Nia cross-referenced Pinnacle's hiring logs, uncovering a pattern of black applicants rejected for flimsy reasons, their resumes trashed while less qualified. White candidates got cushy jobs. The evidence was gold, enough to flip the case and maybe even sue Pinnacle for discrimination. By week's end, Marcus called, his voice electric. "We've got Vance's offshore accounts linked to Victor's shell companies. This is a slam dunk." Nia's heart soared, her penthouse no longer a cage, but a war room, her laptop glowing, with hope as she imagined Vance's face when they exposed him. She pictured the headlines. Billionaire clears name, judge caught in scandal. Her dream of a diverse Starlight Arena alive again. They filed a motion to dismiss, the courtroom buzzing as Marcus presented their findings, his voice booming. "This lawsuit is a sham, and Judge Vance is complicit." Reporters scribbled, the air crackling with anticipation, and Nia felt the tide turning, her smile fierce as Vance squirmed, his gavel idle. The motion was set for review, and Marcus grinned, whispering, "We've got this, Nia." She left the courthouse, head high, the reporters' questions less venomous, some even nodding in respect. For the first time in weeks, she slept, dreaming of Starlight's grand reopening, black artists on stage, Atlanta cheering. But the next morning, her phone exploded with alerts, her name plastered across tabloids. Billionaire's secret fortune, how Nia Caldwell really got rich. Her stomach plummeted as she clicked, finding her financial records, private bank statements, stock trades, even her company's payroll, leaked online, twisted to paint her as a greedy elitist hoarding wealth while stealing Starlight. Headlines screamed, "Black billionaire's shady deals exposed." The racist framing blatant, implying her success was a scam, her intelligence a myth. The comments were a cesspool, slurs and threats piling up, each one a punch to her soul. Nia called Marcus, her voice shaking. "How did this happen?" His silence was deafening, then a curt, "I'll look into it." Hours later, she found the source, an encrypted email from Marcus's firm to a tabloid, the metadata linking to his personal account. Her blood ran cold, betrayal slicing through her like glass. Marcus, her ally, her hope, had sold her out, bribed by Victor's deep pockets to leak her records and flip the narrative. She confronted him in his office 10 stories above downtown, her voice steady despite her rage. "Why, Marcus?" He avoided her eyes, muttering about debts. But she saw Victor's shadow in his guilt. Before she could leave, her phone buzzed with a new alert. Her allies, from Jamal to her PR firm, were jumping ship, spooked by the leak, leaving her alone. She stepped outside, the 90-degree humidity choking her, only to hear a crash, a brick sailing through her office window at Starlight, 5 miles away, the glass shattering with a slur spray-painted in red. "Go home." Jamal's text confirmed. A mob was gathering, their chants echoing the tabloid's lies. "Greedy fraud! Greedy fraud!" Nia's chest tightened. Marcus's betrayal a blade sharper than the lawsuit, Victor's hand pulling every string. Her evidence against Vance was useless without a lawyer, her reputation in tatters, her dream of Starlight slipping away. But as she stood, the brick's red paint glaring in her mind, she remembered her mother's words. "They'll try to break you, but you're stronger." Nia's resolve flared, her eyes scanning the mob's faces, searching for Victor's next move. She'd find a new lawyer, dig deeper into Pinnacle's dirt and fight back, but the mob's shouts grew closer, their fists pounding the arena's gates, and she wondered what Victor had planned next to bury her. Nia Caldwell's world was a house of cards, collapsing under the weight of betrayal and racist lies. Her Atlanta penthouse no longer a sanctuary, but a reminder of her crumbling empire. At 35, she'd built a billion-dollar AI company, but Marcus's treachery, leaking her financial records to paint her as a greedy black elitist, had gutted her support, leaving her alone against Victor Hargrove's relentless vendetta. The brick through Starlight Arena's window, its red painted, slur glaring, still haunted her, the mob's chants of greedy fraud echoing in her nightmares. Her assets were frozen, her allies gone, the media feasting on her downfall, their headlines dripping with racist venom. Billionaire scam unraveled. Nia's chest ached, the betrayal sharper than the lawsuit, but her mother's words, "You're stronger," burned in her mind, pushing her to fight. She couldn't trust lawyers after Marcus, so she hired a private investigator, Lena Brooks, a 42-year-old black woman with a knack for uncovering corporate dirt. Lena met Nia in a dive bar 15 miles from downtown, her leather jacket blending into the dim light, her voice low. "Victor's got a network, Nia. Politicians, cops, tech moguls. I'll find the cracks." Nia slid her a folder with the whistleblower's data on Pinnacle's discriminatory hiring, her voice steady. "Start here. I need something to bury him." Lena nodded, vanishing into the night, and Nia felt a flicker of hope, her billionaire brain mapping a comeback. For days, she holed up in a cheap motel, 10 miles from her penthouse, dodging reporters, her hoodie hiding her face as she worked on her laptop, cross-referencing Lena's leads. Lena delivered, unearthing emails linking Victor to a city councilman who'd pushed the lawsuit, their coded language reeking of racism, dismissing Nia as that uppity tech girl. Nia's pulse raced, her plan crystallizing. Leak the emails to a journalist, Sarah, a 30-year-old white woman who'd written sympathetically about Starlight's riot. Sarah met Nia in a park, the 90-degree heat slicking their skin, and promised a bombshell article. By morning, the story hit, headlined, "Pinnacle's Racist Plot Exposed," the emails plastered online, sparking outrage. Twitter exploded. Justice for Nia trending, with users calling Victor a bigot kingpin. Nia watched from her motel, a rare smile breaking through, her dream of Starlight, a beacon for black artists, flickering back to life. She planned to attend a charity gala that night, 5 miles away, to rebuild her image, her navy gown pressed, her speech ready to rally donors. She stepped into the gala's ballroom, chandeliers glittering, Atlanta's elite nodding cautiously, some whispering, "She's back." Nia's heart swelled, her voice steady as she spoke. "Starlight will rise, and no lie can stop us." The crowd clapped, a few standing, and she felt unstoppable, Victor's empire wobbling. But as she left, crossing the parking garage, her heels clicking on concrete, a shadow moved. 3 men, faces masked, emerged from the darkness. Their boots, heavy, one growling, "Hargrove says back off." Nia's breath caught, her phone slipping from her hand as she backed away. The gala's lights a distant glow. The leader swung a bat, missing her by inches, the air hissing with his rage. She ran, her gown tearing, but they cornered her against a pillar. The bat slamming her shoulder, pain exploding as she fell, blood pooling on the cold floor. A second man kicked her ribs, her gasps drowned by their laughs, the leader whispering, "This is for Starlight." Nia's vision blurred, her body screaming, but she grabbed a loose pipe, swinging it at the leader's knee, his howl echoing as he stumbled. She crawled toward her phone, dialing 911, her voice a rasp. "Help me. I'm at Peachtree Garage." The men fled, tires screeching, leaving her broken, the pipe clattering beside her. Paramedics found her, their lights flashing in the 90-degree night, and she woke in a hospital, her arm in a sling, ribs taped, the TV blaring. "Billionaire attacked, random robbery?" Nia's blood boiled, knowing this was no robbery. Victor's name was on every bruise. The cops, 2 white men, took her statement, their smirks familiar, one muttering, "Maybe stay out of trouble, ma'am." Their dismissal was a fresh wound, the system shielding Victor, her pain invisible. Her motel TV showed Sarah's article fading from headlines, the attack stealing her momentum. Victor's thugs a message, no one defies him. But Nia's eyes burned with defiance, her mind replaying her mother's strength, her vow to rebuild. "Starlight unbroken," Lena texted. "Got more on Victor, meet me tomorrow." Nia clutched her hospital bracelet, her body battered but her resolve iron, knowing Victor's next strike would be worse. She stared at the ceiling, the beeping monitors fading, and whispered, "You won't win." But as she drifted to sleep, a nurse's radio crackled, a news report mentioning Pinnacle's new security measures, and Nia's gut twisted, sensing Victor's shadow closing in. Nia Caldwell lay in her Atlanta hospital bed, her arm throbbing under a sling, her ribs aching with every breath. The bruises from Victor Hargrove's hired thugs a cruel reminder of her fight for Starlight Arena. At 35, she'd turned, her AI genius into a billion-dollar empire. But the racist ambush in that parking garage, the cops' smirks dismissing her pain, had shaken her to her core. Her assets were still frozen, her reputation shredded by Marcus's betrayal, the media's lies calling her a greedy fraud. But Nia's fire burned hotter, fueled by her mother's memory, a nurse who'd faced her own battles with unyielding grit. The gala attack had stolen her momentum, but Lena, her private investigator, texted from a burner phone, "Got more on Victor. His emails are a goldmine." Nia, ignoring the nurse's warnings to rest, propped her laptop on her tray, her fingers trembling as she used her tech skills to hack into Pinnacle Entertainment's servers, a risky move that could land her in jail but worth it to bury Victor. The hospital's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, the 90-degree heat seeping through the window, but Nia's focus was razor-sharp, her code slicing through Pinnacle's firewalls like a blade. She found it, a folder labeled Confidential, stuffed with Victor's emails to his board, their language vile, calling black artists low class and ordering managers to keep Starlight pure. One email, sent the day she bought, the arena read, "This Caldwell woman won't last. Make her regret it." Nia's blood boiled, the racist plot laid bare, Victor's arrogance a match to her resolve. She leaked the emails to Sarah, the journalist who'd exposed Victor's bribes, encrypting the files to protect herself. By morning, the story broke, headlined, "Pinnacle's Racist Emails, CEO's Hate Exposed," the internet erupting with fury, so boycott Pinnacle trending as Atlanta's black community rallied. Nia watched from her hospital room, her TV flashing images of protests outside Pinnacle's offices, signs reading, "Nia's our hero." A local group, the Unity Collective, contacted her, their leader, Aisha, a 28-year-old activist, organizing a boycott of Pinnacle's venues, including Starlight's rival, the Crown Theater. Aisha visited Nia, her braids swinging as she said, "We're shutting them down for you." Nia's heart swelled, her bruises forgotten as she joined a virtual meeting from her bed, strategizing with Aisha's team, their voices a chorus of hope. The boycott hit hard, Pinnacle's stock dropping 10 points in a day, ticket sales tanking, and Nia felt unstoppable, her vision of a diverse Starlight closer than ever. She was discharged, moving to a safe house 20 miles from downtown, her sling off but her ribs still tender, the 90-degree humidity clinging to her skin. The boycott grew, thousands marching, their chants echoing through Atlanta's streets. "No more lies, no more hate!" Nia joined them via livestream, her voice strong. "We're taking Starlight back!" The crowd roared, and for a moment she believed she'd won, Victor's empire crumbling under her truth. But Victor, cornered, played a darker card, his influence snaking into the heart of her support. He targeted Reverend Thomas, a 60-year-old, pastor at Mount Zion Church, a pillar of Atlanta's black community, whose sermons drew thousands. Victor's team, posing as donors, funneled $50,000 to the church, whispering lies about Nia's divisive agenda. On Sunday, Nia watched in horror from her safe house, the TV streaming Thomas's service, his voice thundering to a packed congregation. "Nia Caldwell's tearing us apart, a fraud stirring trouble for her own gain." The camera panned to worshippers, some nodding, others gasping, as Thomas called her a false prophet, his words a betrayal sharper than Marcus's. Social media turned, Nia the fraud trending, her supporters splintering, some tweeting, "Reverend's right, she's trouble." The boycott faltered, Aisha texting, "People are scared, Nia. They're getting threats." Nia's chest tightened, Victor's shadow suffocating her victory, his manipulation turning her own community against her. She tried calling Aisha, but the line was busy, the safe house's walls closing in as she scrolled X, finding death threats. "Stay out of Atlanta, fraud!" Her allies faced harassment, their cars vandalized, their jobs targeted, Victor's reach a hydra with endless heads. Nia's hope flickered, the email's triumph fading, but the worst was yet to come. That night, her phone buzzed with a call from her cousin Malik, his voice shaking. "Nia, it's your old house. Her childhood home, 15 miles away, where she'd grown up with her mother's laughter, was gone, swallowed by flames. Firefighters called it arson, a gas can found in the rubble, the news flashing images of charred walls, her mother's photo albums ash. Malik whispered, "They found Pinnacle's logo on the can." Nia's knees buckled, her safe house a blur, the fire a message from Victor. No one was safe. The community's betrayal, Thomas's words, the flames, they were his retaliation, a strike more personal than the gala attack, ripping her roots apart. She clutched her laptop, Lena's text her only anchor. "I'm digging deeper. Stay strong." Nia's eyes burned, not from smoke but defiance, her vow to rebuild Starlight a flame of its own. But as she stared at the news, a reporter mentioned Pinnacle's new allies, and Nia's gut twisted, sensing Victor's next move was already in motion. Can you feel Nia's pain after this betrayal? Comment number 1 if you're heartbroken by her community turning against her. Hit like to stand with her fight and subscribe to see how she battles back. What's Victor planning now? And can Nia rebuild when even her home is ashes? Nia Caldwell's safe house, a cramped apartment 20 miles from Atlanta's glittering skyline, felt like a tomb, the ashes of her childhood home still choking her dreams. At 35, she'd built a billion-dollar AI empire. But Victor, Hargrove's latest blow, turning her own community against her with Reverend Thomas's betrayal and burning her mother's house, had left her reeling, the racist arson a wound deeper than the gala attack's bruises. The boycott she'd sparked with Pinnacle's leaked emails was crumbling, her supporters harassed, their faith in her shattered by lies calling her a divisive fraud. Her assets remained frozen, Starlight Arena a distant hope. The media's slurs, black, billionaire's scam, a constant hum of hate. Nia's ribs ached, her hospital stay a fresh memory, but her mother's voice, "You're stronger," echoed, pushing her to pivot. Her company, Caldwell Innovations, was her last stronghold, its AI algorithms powering industries worldwide. She moved to a secure office 15 miles from downtown, her hoodie hiding her face from reporters still circling like vultures. The 90-degree heat clung to her skin as she met her team, a loyal core of engineers who'd stuck by her, their eyes fierce with trust. Nia launched a campaign, Innovate for All, showcasing her company's work. AI for healthcare, education, jobs. Tweeting from a new account, "This is who I am, not the lies." She poured her heart into it, filming videos in her office, her voice steady. "I bought Starlight to uplift and no hate can stop me." The campaign hit big, her stock soaring 20 points in a week, investors flooding her inbox with praise. Nia's a visionary. Social media shifted. Innovate for All trending, fans posting, "We believe in you." For the first time since the arson. Nia smiled, her safe house's bare walls brightening as she planned Starlight's revival, imagining black artists on stage, Atlanta cheering. She walked taller, her ribs less sore, the city's pulse syncing with her own. Her team threw a small celebration, pizza boxes piling up as they toasted, "To Nia, unstoppable." She felt invincible, Victor's shadow fading, her empire rising from the ashes. But Victor, lurking in Pinnacle's glass tower, wasn't done. His pride a festering wound since her email leak tanked his stock. He hired a hacker, a ghost named Cypher, to strike Nia's core. Late one night as Nia reviewed contracts, her laptop froze, a skull icon flashing, her screen bleeding red with a message, "You're done, Caldwell." Her company's servers crashed, proprietary code, AI algorithms worth billions, leaked, online, posted on dark web forums with a note, "Courtesy of Nia's fraud." Her phone exploded with alerts, investors panicking. What's happening? Nia's heart raced, her fingers flying to trace the attack, but the damage was done. By morning, the SEC launched an investigation, their email accusing her of gross mismanagement, claiming she'd leaked the code to dodge taxes. The media pounced, headlines screaming, "Billionaire's tech empire collapses, fraud confirmed." The racist framing blatant, implying a black woman couldn't run a company that big. Nia's office became a war zone, her team scrambling to secure servers, but the leaks kept coming. Payroll data, client contracts, all twisted to paint her as a crook. She called Lena, her PI, who warned, This is Victor's work, but the hacker's a pro. Nia's stomach twisted, the arson's flames flashing in her mind. This attack a digital fire burning her legacy. Her board, a mix of white and Asian, execs called an emergency meeting. Their Zoom faces cold, one muttering, "We can't survive this, Nia." She argued, her voice cracking, "This is sabotage, not my fault." But Victor's team had planted rumors, whispering to board members about Nia's instability, their bias clear. A black woman was too risky to lead. The vote was swift, 7-3, ousting her as CEO, her own company slipping through her fingers. Nia sat in her office, the city's lights mocking her, her team's eyes avoiding hers, the silence deafening. She was alone, her assets frozen, her reputation ashes, Starlight a fading dream. The SEC's investigators were circling, their questions laced with condescension. "How'd you really build this company, Miss Caldwell?" Her safe house felt colder, the 90-degree night no comfort. But as she packed her laptop, a file caught her eye buried in the leaked code, a hidden message. "Cipher works for VH." Her pulse quickened, Victor's initials a beacon in the dark. Lena confirmed it. "VH is Victor. He's got a tech accomplice and I'm closing in." Nia's resolve hardened, her mother's strength a fire in her veins. But the board's vote echoed. Her empire gone. Victor's sabotage a blade sharper than the arson. She stared at the city, the SEC's subpoena in her inbox, and whispered, "I'm not done." But a news alert flashed, Pinnacle's new partnership, and Nia's gut churned, knowing Victor's next strike was already in play. Nia Caldwell's safe house, a dingy apartment 20 miles from Atlanta's pulsing heart, was a far cry from the tech empire she'd built, now stolen by Victor Hargrove's ruthless cyber attack. At 35, she'd been a billionaire. Her AI company a beacon of innovation, but the board's vote to oust her, spurred by leaked code and SEC accusations of fraud, had left her a pariah, her assets frozen, her name smeared with racist lies. Black CEO's scam exposed. The arson of her childhood home still burned in her memory, Reverend Thomas's betrayal a fresh scar. But the hidden message in the leaked code, "Cipher works for VH," was a lifeline, proof Victor was behind it all. Nia's ribs ached. From the gala attack, her spirit bruised but unbroken, her mother's words, "You're stronger," a mantra against despair. Starlight Arena, her dream of a diverse cultural hub, felt like a fading star, but she wasn't done. Lena, her private investigator, was tracking Cipher, Victor's hacker, but Nia needed more firepower to expose his network. Enter Elena Ruiz, a 32-year-old white journalist with a popular blog, Truth Uncovered, known for dismantling corporate giants. Nia found her through a tip from Sarah, the reporter who'd broken the email story before the community turned. They met in a coffee shop 10 miles from the safe house, the 90-degree heat heavy, Elena's sharp green eyes scanning Nia's face as she said, "I've read about you. Victor's a monster. Let me help." Nia hesitated. Marcus's betrayal, still raw, but Elena's articles on Pinnacle's shady deals convinced her, their detail a promise of redemption. Over iced coffee, Nia shared the cipher clue, her voice low. "This ties Victor to the cyber attack. Can you dig deeper?" Elena nodded, her pen flying. "I've got sources in tech. We'll nail him." For days, they worked in secret, Nia, feeding Elena data from Lena's leads, while Elena tapped insiders at Pinnacle's partner firms. They uncovered a trail. Cipher, a shadowy coder, was paid through Victor's offshore accounts, his hacks targeting black-owned businesses for years. Nia's pulse raced, her safe house a war room, her laptop glowing with evidence that could topple Victor's empire. Elena drafted an article, Pinnacle's Cyber Conspiracy, CEO's Racist War, linking the cyber attack to Nia's ousting, the evidence ironclad, bank transfers, emails, even a voice memo of Victor laughing, "Caldwell's done." Nia read the draft, her heart soaring, imagining Starlight's revival, Atlanta cheering her name. The article dropped at midnight, going viral by dawn, X ablaze with Quanner takedown Pinnacle, users raging, "Victor's a racist thug." The feds took notice, a press release announcing a probe into Pinnacle's finances, the SEC shifting focus from Nia to Victor's accounts. Nia watched from her safe house, the TV flashing protests outside Pinnacle's tower, signs reading, "Justice for Nia." Her phone buzzed with texts from old allies, Jamal among them. "We're back, boss." For the first time since the boardroom betrayal, Nia felt hope, her dream of a diverse starlight flickering alive, Victor's empire cracking. She planned a quiet dinner, 5 miles away, to celebrate with Lena, her guard down, believing this feds would finish Victor. But as she slept, Elena's blog updated, a new post twisting the narrative. Nia Caldwell's evidence fabricated. The article, posted without warning, claimed Nia forged the cipher data, painting her as a desperate liar. The voice memo, likely AI generated. Nia's stomach plummeted, her laptop screen a betrayal sharper than Marcus's. Elena's name, a poison. X turned, quench, Nia the liar trending, comments spewing slurs. She's playing the race card. The feds pivoted, their probe now targeting Nia for obstructing justice, her safe house raided at dawn. Federal agents in black vests tearing through her belongings, seizing her laptop, her phone, her last scraps of evidence. An agent, his voice cold, handed her a note, the handwriting Elena's. "You should have stayed quiet." Nia's knees buckled, the realization crashing. Elena was Victor's pawn, her blog a trap, her help a lie to frame Nia as a criminal. The raid left her apartment in chaos, her allies silent again, the media feasting. Billionaire's fraud deepens. The racist framing blatant, implying a black woman could only succeed through deceit. Nia stood in her gutted safe house, the 90-degree morning stifling, her ribs aching as if the gala thugs had struck again. The feds' questions echoed. "Did you fake the evidence, Miss Caldwell?" Their skepticism, a mirror of the system's bias. Her dream of starlight, a stage, for black artists felt like a cruel joke, Victor's shadow swallowing her hope. But as she sifted through the raid's wreckage, she found a scrap of paper, a backup drive Lena had slipped her, labeled Cipher's Key. Her pulse quickened, Lena's loyalty a spark in the dark, but the Fed's subpoena loomed, her freedom at risk. Nia clutched the drive, her mother's strength a fire in her chest, vowing to expose Elena's betrayal in Victor's game. But as she hid the drive, a news alert flashed. Pinnacle's new evidence against Caldwell, and Nia's eye, gut twisted, knowing Victor's next strike was already loaded. Nia Caldwell's safe house, a bare apartment 20 miles from Atlanta's gleaming towers, was a hollow shell, much like her spirit after Elena's betrayal had turned her last hope into a federal nightmare. At 35, she'd been a billionaire, tech titan, but Victor Hargrove's orchestrated attacks, riots, lawsuits, betrayals, and a cyber attack that cost her company had left her facing fraud charges, her assets frozen, her dream of a diverse starlight arena mocked by racist headlines. Black fraud's empire crumbles. The federal raid sparked by Elena's false claim that Nia forged evidence against Victor's hacker, Cipher, had stripped her of her laptop, her phone, her dignity. Elena's note, "You should have stayed quiet," a taunt that burned worse than the gala attack's bruises. Nia's ribs still ached, the arson of her childhood home a fresh wound, but her mother's words, "You're stronger," kept her fighting. Lena, her private investigator, was her only ally. The backup drive labeled Cipher's Key, a faint spark in the darkness. Nia, dodging the feds, moved to a new hideout, a motel 15 miles from downtown, its flickering neon sign a match for her fading hope. The 90-degree heat clung to her hoodie as she met Lena in a back booth, Lena's eyes sharp. "I've got Elena's financials. She's been taking Pinnacle money for months." Nia's jaw tightened, the betrayal a knife twisting deeper. But Lena's evidence, bank transfers from Victor's shell companies, was enough to clear her name. Nia hired a new lawyer, Aisha, a 40-year-old black woman who'd fought corporate corruption, her voice fierce. "We'll bury Elena and Victor." They worked fast, Aisha filing a motion to dismiss the charges, presenting Lena's evidence in a packed courtroom, the air thick with tension. Reporters watched, their pens poised, as Aisha argued, "Elena Ruiz is a fraud, paid by Victor Hargrove, to frame my client." The judge, a new one untainted by Victor's influence, nodded, and the charges were dropped. the courtroom gasping as Nia stood, her head high, her navy blazer a shield against the past. Aisha whispered, "You're free, Nia." And for the first time since the cyber attack, Nia breathed, her heart lifting. She planned a press conference, 10 miles away at a community center, to reclaim her narrative, her speech memorized. "I'm Nia Caldwell, and no lie can stop me." The event drew hundreds, Atlanta's residents packing the room, their faces a mix of hope and doubt, the 90-degree evening heavy with anticipation. Nia took the stage, her voice steady. "Victor Hargrove tried to break me, but I'm still here, fighting for Starlight. For us." The crowd cheered, phones streaming live, X buzzing with your Nia rises, comments flooding. "She's our queen!" Sponsors, sensing a comeback, emailed offers, and Nia felt invincible, her dream of black artists lighting up Starlight alive again. She left the stage, hugging Aisha, believing Victor's empire was cracking, the feds now eyeing Pinnacle. But Victor, raging in his penthouse office, wasn't finished. His pride a festering wound since Nia's emails tanked his stock. He unleashed his deadliest weapon yet, a deepfake video, crafted by Cypher, showing Nia at a podium, her face perfect, but her voice spewing vile slurs against Atlanta's white and Latino communities. Words so hateful they shocked even her enemies. The video aired on national TV, a breaking news segment interrupting prime time, the anchor's voice grave. Nia Caldwell's shocking rant. X exploded. While Nia hate trending, comments raging. "She's a racist fraud." Nia watched. From her motel, her TV screen a nightmare, her own face betraying her. The deepfake so real her own cousin texted, "Is this you?" The backlash was swift, sponsors pulling out, their emails cold. "We can't associate with hate." Her press conference victory evaporated, the community center's organizers banning her, their statement blunt, "Nia's not welcome." A racist mob fueled by the video stormed Starlight Arena 12 miles away, their boots smashing windows, spray painting slurs across the marquee. "Hate out!" Nia's heart shattered. The arena's broken glass a mirror of her spirit. Victor's deepfake a public crucifixion worse than Elena's lies. She called Lena, her voice shaking. "This isn't me." But Lena was already digging. "It's Cypher. I'm tracing the code." Nia, alone in her motel, scoured the deepfake's metadata, her tech skills kicking in, finding a digital fingerprint linking it to Pinnacle's servers. Her pulse quickened, a clue to turn the tide, but the mob's chants echoed on the news. "Burn it down!" Her allies vanished again, Aisha's phone off, the feds silent, the system swallowing her truth. The 90-degree night pressed in, her motel room a cage, the TV flashing images of Starlight's ruins. Nia clutched Lena's drive, her mother's strength a fading ember, vowing to expose Victor's tech firm, but a new alert flashed. Pinnacle denies deepfake, blames Caldwell. And her gut twisted, knowing Victor's next move was already loaded. Are you stunned by Victor's cruelty? Comment number 1 if you're furious at this deepfake tearing Nia down. Hit like to rally behind her truth, and subscribe to see her fight back. Can Nia prove the video's a lie? Or will Victor's tech empire bury her for good? Nia Caldwell's motel room, a grim hideout 15 miles from Atlanta's neon glow, was a prison of flickering lights and peeling wallpaper, her once billion-dollar life reduced to a burner phone and Lena's backup drive. At 35, she'd been a tech titan, but Victor Hargrove's deepfake video, aired nationally to paint her as a hateful racist, had shattered her comeback, turning Starlight Arena into a vandalized ruin, its marquee defaced with slurs, her sponsors gone, her allies silent. The press conference, where Atlanta had cheered her, felt like a cruel mirage. The Fed's raid and Elena's betrayal still raw, her assets frozen, her company stolen. The deepfake's metadata, linking to Pinnacle's servers, was her only weapon, a digital breadcrumb in a war that had burned her childhood home and bruised her ribs. Nia's body ached from the gala attack, her spirit battered by Reverend Thomas's lies, but her mother's words, "You're stronger," fueled her defiance. Lena, her private investigator, was chasing Cypher, Victor's hacker, but Nia couldn't wait. She sat cross-legged on the motel's sagging bed, the 90-degree heat seeping through cracked windows, her burner laptop humming as she hacked. Pinnacle's tech firm, her AI skills slicing through their defenses like a scalpel. Sweat stung her eyes as she navigated encrypted servers, her fingers trembling, knowing one wrong move could alert Victor's team. After hours, she found it, a database of Cypher's attacks, targeting black businesses for years. With Victor's orders stamped on every file, his emails gloating. Caldwell's just the start. Nia's blood boiled. The racist scope of his empire laid bare, a network of hate stretching beyond Atlanta. She leaked the database to Sarah, her journalist ally, encrypting the files to dodge the feds, her heart pounding as she hit send. By dawn, the story broke, headlined, "Pinnacle's Cyber War on Black America." The database splashed across X, Guachirar, Victor exposed, trending with millions of views. Pinnacle's stock plummeted, investors fleeing, protests erupting outside their tower, signs screaming, "End the hate!" Nia watched from her motel, the TV flashing images of Atlanta's streets, her name a rallying cry, "Nia's our truth." Her chest swelled, Starlight's dream, a stage for black artists, flickering back to life. She planned a rally, 10 miles away at a public square, to thank her supporters. Her first public move since the deepfake, Lena warned. Victor's cornered, he'll hit hard. But Nia brushed it off, her victory too sweet, believing the feds would nab him soon. She arrived at the rally, the 90-degree sun blazing, thousands packing the square, their cheers. A roar as she took the stage, her voice strong. "We've exposed Victor and Starlight will rise." Phone streamed live, X buzzing. Nia's unstoppable. Her security, 2 black ex-cops hired by Lena, flanked her, their eyes scanning the crowd. She spoke of her mother, her vision, the arena's future. The crowd chanting, "Nia! Nia!" For a moment she was invincible, Victor's empire dust, her truth winning. But Victor, unhinged in his penthouse, wasn't done. His pride a festering wound since her leaks gutted Pinnacle. He hired a sniper, a ghost named Reaper, paying $1 million to end Nia's fight. As Nia spoke, a red laser dot danced on, her chest unnoticed by the crowd, her words faltering as her security's eyes widened. The lead guard, Jamal's cousin, tackled her to the stage, a rifle crack splitting the air, the bullet grazing her arm, blood soaking her sleeve as the crowd screamed, chaos erupting. Nia hit the ground, her arm burning, her vision blurring, the 90-degree heat a furnace as her guards dragged her behind a barricade, sirens wailing. The sniper vanished, the shot traced to a rooftop 500 yards away, but the message was clear. Victor wanted her dead. Her guards rushed her to a van, speeding 12 miles to a clinic, her arm bandaged, the TV in the waiting room blaring. "Billionaire shot at rally. Terrorist act?" The anchor's words stung, the racist framing implying Nia's fight provoked. Violence, her pain invisible. Cops arrived, their questions cold. "Did you know the shooter, Miss Caldwell?" Their smirks echoing the gala's dismissal. Nia's stomach twisted, the database's triumph crushed, her rally a trap, Victor's sniper a blade sharper than the deepfake. Her arm throbbed, but her mind raced, replaying the crowd's cheers, her mother's strength a fire in her veins. Lena texted, "Reaper's linked to Victor. I'm close." Nia clutched her bandage, vowing to expose the sniper's paymaster, Starlight's dream her North Star. But as she left the clinic, a news alert flashed. Pinnacle denies shooting, blames extremists, and her gut churned, knowing Victor's next move was already loaded. Nia Caldwell's arm throbbed under a fresh bandage. The sniper's bullet grazed a searing reminder of how close she'd come to death at the Atlanta rally, her dream of a diverse Starlight arena hanging by a thread. At 35, she'd been a billionaire tech mogul, but Victor Hargrove's relentless war, riots, lawsuits, betrayals, cyber attacks, deepfakes, and now an assassination attempt, had driven her underground, her assets frozen, her name smeared with racist lies. Black. Terrorist sparks chaos. The rally's cheers, drowned by screams as the shot rang out, felt like a cruel echo of her press conference triumph. The media's terrorist label, a knife twisting deeper than Elena's betrayal. Nia's motel hideout was compromised. Cops circling, their smirks as cold as the gala attack's dismissal, so she fled to a basement safe house 25 miles from downtown, its damp walls and flickering bulb a far cry from her penthouse. The 90-degree heat clung to her hoodie, her ribs aching from past blows, but her mother's words, "You're stronger," burned in her chest, fueling her fight. Lena, her private investigator, was her only lifeline, tracing the sniper, Reaper, to Victor's payroll. But Naya needed allies to strike back. She connected with the Freedom Collective, a group of Black and Latino activists who'd fought Pinnacle's racism for years. Their leader, Malik, a 30-year-old ex-hacker, with scars from his own battles. They met in the basement, Malik's voice low. "Victor's empire's cracking, Nia. Your leaks shook them. Let's finish it." Nia shared Lena's latest find, a ledger of Victor's bribes to city officials, tied to Starlight's sabotage, and Malik's eyes lit up. "We'll shut the arena down, make Pinnacle bleed." Nia's pulse quickened, her tech skills syncing with Malik's, their plan forming. A massive protest at Starlight 10 miles away to demand Victor's arrest and reclaim the arena for Atlanta's communities. She hacked into Pinnacle's booking system, canceling their events, rerouting funds to the collective, her fingers flying as Malik grinned. "You're a legend." The protest grew fast, the collective spreading word on encrypted apps, thousands pledging to march, their signs ready. "Starlight for all." Nia stayed in the shadows, her arms still sore, coordinating via burner phones, her safe house a war, room of maps and laptops. The rally day arrived, the 90-degree sun blazing, Atlanta's streets packed with 10,000 marchers, their chants thundering, "No more Victor! No more hate!" Nia watched via livestream, her heart soaring, as Malik led the crowd, his megaphone booming. "Nia Caldwell's our truth and Starlight's ours." X exploded, shark-free Starlight trending. Pinnacle's stock tanking another 15 points, sponsors fleeing. News anchors, once hostile, questioned Victor's ties, the feds hinting at raids. Nia felt unstoppable, her leaks and the collective's fire toppling Victor's empire, Starlight's marquee hers again in spirit. She whispered to her mother's memory, "We're close," believing the protest would force the feds' hand. But Victor, cornered in his glass tower, his empire bleeding, wasn't done. His rage a furnace since Naya's database gutted Pinnacle. He hired a demolitions expert, planting explosives in Starlight's underbelly, wiring them to frame the collective as terrorists. As the protest peaked, Malik raising a fist to the crowd, a low rumble shook the arena. A blast ripping through its east wing, flames bursting, glass shattering like 1,000 screams. The crowd panicked, marchers fleeing, dozens injured, their cries piercing Nia's live stream. Her safe house screen a nightmare of smoke and chaos. Malik's voice cut through. "Get out! It's a bomb!" Nia's knees buckled, her arm throbbing, as if the sniper had struck again. The explosion a blow worse than the deepfake. News flashed. Terrorist attack at Starlight. Caldwell's group blamed. The racist framing blatant, painting Nia's allies as violent radicals. Her truth buried. Cops swarmed, arresting collective members, Malik's face on TV, cuffed, his eyes defiant. A manhunt launched for Nia, her photo plastered online. Wanted terrorist leader. The feds warrant accusing her of orchestrating the blast. Her safe house was no longer safe, sirens closing in, the 90-degree night a chokehold. Nia grabbed her burner laptop, Lena's text her only anchor. Victor's behind it, found his server. She fled to a new hideout, 12 miles away, her heart racing as she hacked the server, her code trembling, uncovering a video of Victor ordering the bombing, his voice cold. "Make it look like Caldwell's war." Nia's blood boiled, the proof a lifeline. But the manhunt tightened, cops raiding collective safe houses, her allies scattered. Starlight's ruins a symbol of her loss. She clutched Lena's drive, her mother's strength a fading ember, vowing to leak the video, to save Malik, to reclaim Starlight. But as she hid, a news alert flashed. Pinnacle vows justice against Caldwell, and her gut twisted, knowing Victor's next strike was already primed. Nia Caldwell's new hideout, a derelict warehouse 12 miles from Atlanta's pulsing core, was a maze of rusted beams and shadows. Her only refuge as a fugitive branded a terrorist after Victor Hargrove's bombing of Starlight Arena. 35. She'd been a billionaire tech mogul, her AI empire a beacon. But Victor's war, riots, lawsuits, betrayals, cyber attacks, deepfakes, sniper shots, and now a bomb that injured dozens, had reduced her to a wanted woman. Her assets, frozen, her name smeared with racist lies. Caldwell's terrorist plot. The protests' roar, crushed by the explosion's chaos, echoed the sniper's crack, her arm still stinging from its graze, her ribs aching from past blows. The manhunt was relentless, cops raiding safe houses, Malik and the Freedom Collective jailed, Starlight's ruins a monument to her loss. Nia's safehouse basement was a lifeline, Lena's server hack her only weapon, the video of Victor ordering the bombing. Make it look like Caldwell's war. A truth that could save her. The 90-degree heat pressed through cracked windows, her burner laptop glowing as she encrypted the video, her fingers trembling, knowing one slip could end her. She leaked it to Sarah, her journalist ally, the file hitting X at midnight. Headlined, Pinnacle CEO's Bomb Confession. The clip going viral, millions watching Victor's cold smirk, his voice damning. Atlanta erupted, protests flooding. Pinnacle's tower, signs screaming, "Arrest Hargrove." Pinnacle's stock crashed, the board ousting Victor in a frantic vote, their press release admitting leadership failures. Nia watched from her hideout, the TV flashing images of Victor's fall, her heart racing. Starlight's dream, a stage for black artists, flickering back. The feds shifted, raiding Pinnacle's offices, Malik and the collective released. There, charges dropped. Nia's name cleared, X buzzing with Mar Nia vindicated. Fans posting, "She's our hero." She planned a new rally, 15 miles away at a city park, to reclaim Starlight's spirit, believing Victor was done. His empire dust. Lena warned, "He's unhinged, Nia. Watch your back." But Nia, buoyed by the video's impact, felt untouchable. Her mother's words, "You're stronger, a shield." The rally drew thousands, the 90-degree sun blazing, Nia's voice soaring. "We've won, and Starlight will rise." The crowd roared, phones streaming, her security tight after the sniper scare. She left the stage, hugging Malik, planning Starlight's rebuild. But her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Your sister's with me. Come alone. 2300 Old Mill Road." Nia's blood froze. Her sister Maya, a 28-year-old teacher, her only family since their mother's death, now Victor's pawn. The address was a warehouse 20 miles away, a trap Nia couldn't ignore. She slipped away, telling Lena to stay back, her heart pounding as she drove through Atlanta's dark streets, the 90-degree night a chokehold. The warehouse loomed, its steel doors ajar, Victor inside, his suit rumpled, his eyes wild. A gun pressed to Maya's temple, her sobs echoing. "Retract the video, Nia," he snarled. "Or she's dead." Nia's knees shook, her arms grazed burning, but her billionaire brain kicked in, spotting a taser in her pocket, a gift from Lena after the sniper. She raised her hands, feigning surrender, her voice calm. "Let her go, Victor. It's over." He laughed, his gun steady. "You're nothing, Caldwell. Just a loud black girl who got lucky." The racist slur hit like a fist, but Nia moved, lunging as she fired the taser, its prongs hitting Victor's chest, his gun clattering as he convulsed. Maya screamed, running to Nia, but Victor, gasping, triggered a remote, a low rumble shaking. The warehouse, beams groaning as the roof began to collapse. Nia grabbed Maya, diving for cover, steel crashing around them, dust choking their lungs as the building caved in. Nia's arm burned, her ribs screaming, but she shielded Maya, crawling through rubble, her taser lost, Victor's shadow vanishing, into the night. They reached an exit, gasping in the 90-degree air, sirens distant, the warehouse a tomb of twisted metal. Nia's heart raced, Maya safe, but Victor gone, his trap a final act of racist hate, worse than the bombing targeting her family. The video had toppled his empire, but his escape mocked her. The feds too slow, Starlight's dream teetering. Lena arrived, her voice urgent. "He's on the run, Nia. We'll get him." Nia clutched Maya, her mother's strength a fading pulse, vowing to rebuild Starlight, to end Victor's reign. But as they fled, a news alert flashed. Pinnacle's board clears Hargrove, and Nia's gut twisted, sensing his allies were already regrouping. Nia Caldwell clutched her sister Maya's trembling hand, the dust of the collapsed warehouse still coating their clothes. Their escape from Victor Hargrove's deadly trap, a miracle that left Nia's arm throbbing and her ribs screaming. At 35, she'd been a billionaire tech mogul, her purchase of Starlight Arena a bold stand against racism. But Victor's relentless war, riots, lawsuits, betrayals, cyber attacks, deepfakes, sniper shots, bombings, and now a kidnapping, had pushed her to the edge, her assets frozen, her name branded a terrorist by racist lies. The warehouse's steel ruins, 20 miles from Atlanta's neon heart, were a testament to Victor's hatred, his gun to Maya's head, his taunt. Just a loud black girl, a wound deeper than the sniper's graze. Nia's leaked video of Victor's bombing confession had toppled Pinnacle Entertainment, his board ousting him, the feds raiding his empire, but his escape into the night mocked her victory. His allies' news alert: Pinnacle clears Hargrove. A chilling hint of their power. Lena, her private investigator, drove Nia and Maya to a new safe house, 15 miles away. Its bare walls a stark contrast to Nia's lost penthouse, the 90-degree heat pressing through cracked blinds. Nia's burner laptop glowed, her tech skills tracing Victor's flight. Lena confirming, he's in hiding, but the feds have his confession. They're closing in. By dawn, news broke. Victor was arrested, caught at a private airstrip, his smug face cuffed on every channel, Atlanta cheering. Hargrove's done. Pinnacle collapsed, its assets seized. Starlight Arena returned to Nia, her frozen accounts unlocked. She exhaled, her mother's words. You're stronger. A pulse in her veins, Maya's safe embrace a lifeline. Nia threw herself into rebuilding, moving to a modest office 10 miles from downtown, her team, Malik, Aisha, and loyal engineers, rallying to restore Starlight. They cleared the bomb's rubble, repainted the marquee, booked black artists, Latino DJs, Asian poets, the arena's new slogan, harmony and diversity, shining in neon. Nia's AI company, battered by Victor's cyber attack, rebounded, her stock soaring, investors begging to return, X buzzing with Nia triumphs, fans posting, Starlight's ours. She planned a grand reopening, a free concert to unite Atlanta, her heart swelling as she walked the arena's polished halls, the 90-degree summer a warm embrace, her arms scar a badge of survival. The city hailed her, the mayor shaking her hand, a mural of Nia rising on Peachtree Street captioned, Atlanta's hero. Her press conference streamed live drew millions, her voice fierce. Starlight's for everyone and no hate can stop us. The crowd roared, thousands packing the arena's lawn, their cheers drowning out memories of riots, bombs, and slurs. Nia stood on stage, Maya at her side, Malik leading chants, harmony, harmony. The first act, a black gospel choir, filled the air with hope, Atlanta's skyline glittering, the moment perfect. Nia smiled, believing Victor's defeat was final, Starlight's dream a reality, her mother's spirit beaming. But as the choir sang, every screen in the arena, jumbotrons, phones, control room monitors, flickered, a chilling message crawling across. This isn't over. Hargrove. The crowd gasped, murmurs rippling. Nia's stomach plummeting as she scanned the words, their font a digital echo of Victor's deep fake. Lena, in the control room, texted, "It's a hack, not Victor. He's in jail." Nia's mind raced, her tech skills kicking in, tracing the signal to an offshore server, a shadow network untouched by Pinnacle's fall. The feds on site confirmed Victor was locked up, but Lena's voice shook. His allies, Nia, a cabal, they're bigger than him. The screens went dark, the choir's song faltering, the 90-degree night heavy with dread. Nia grabbed a mic, her voice steady despite her pounding heart. "We're not afraid. Starlight stands." The crowd cheered, but their eyes darted, fear creeping in. The message a ghost of Victor's hate. Nia's arm scar burned, her ribs aching as if the warehouse had collapsed again. The realization crashing. Victor was a pawn in a larger racist machine. A cabal of elites, politicians, CEOs, tech lords, who'd backed his war, their influence, a hydra beyond pinnacle. X buzzed with your Hargrove lives, trolls spewing slurs. Nia's done. Her allies rallied, Malik vowing, "We'll fight." But the Fed's silence, their shrugs at the hack, echoed the system's bias, dismissing her as that loud black girl. Nia stood on stage, Maya's hand in hers, the arena's lights, dimming, her dream alive but under siege. She vowed to expose the cabal, to protect Starlight, her AI skills already mapping their servers, Lena digging for names. The concert resumed, the choir's harmony a defiant pulse, but Nia's eyes scanned the skyline, sensing the cabal's shadow, their next strike a storm brewing. Her mother's strength burned, her resolve unbreakable. But as she left the stage, a news alert flashed, Starlight hack unknown group claims credit, and her gut twisted knowing the war wasn't over. The story of Nia Caldwell in Black Woman Denied VIP Concert Tickets, Then She Buys the Venue, is a powerful testament to resilience against systemic racism. Nia, a black billionaire, faced relentless attacks, riots, lawsuits, betrayals, cyber attacks, deepfakes, sniper shots, bombings, and kidnappings, orchestrated by Victor Hargrove and his racist cabal, all triggered by her bold purchase of Starlight Arena. Each time she rose, from exposing Victor's crimes to rebuilding the arena, she faced harsher retaliation. Yet her mother's words, "You're stronger," fueled her fight. The first lesson is unwavering perseverance. Systemic racism with its lies and violence aims to break spirits, but Nia's refusal to quit, even as a fugitive, shows strength can outlast hate. Second, systemic racism is a hydra. Cutting one head like Victor reveals a broader network, as seen in the cabal's final hack. This teaches us to stay vigilant, as prejudice evolves but never vanishes. Third, community matters. Nia's allies, from Lena to Malik, were her lifeline, proving collective resistance can challenge power. Finally, truth is a weapon. Nia's leaks and hacks turned Victor's tools against him, showing that exposing racism, even at great cost, can shift narratives. Her story isn't just about surviving, it's about defying a system designed to crush black excellence. Nia's vow to fight the cabal inspires us to confront injustice daily, whether in boardrooms or streets. What's your take? Can one person's fight spark systemic change? Comment number 1 if you're inspired by Nia's courage, like to stand against racism, and subscribe to follow more stories of defiance. Share this to spread Nia's truth. Thank you for joining her journey, and here's wishing you the strength to challenge injustice wherever you are.